Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. I'm Lez Engelstad, and I'm visiting you with my dog, Kizzy. I'm here in the Lakes Country and feeling mighty grateful for this background and for my life here living in Minnesota. I think that if you haven't yet, step out your door and look where you get to live, because we got a lot to be grateful for. Really, really do. There's a lot of ways in life that we can get old, and there's a lot of ways we can keep young. And one of those ways to keep young is, I think, constantly seeking to get a little bit wiser. And that can look a lot of different ways to a lot of different people. But wisdom is intense. It really is. There's just so much that we can learn about. But sometimes I get a little bit sad, perhaps I'd like to say, is when people think that the only way you can get wise is to get educated in a college or in their doctors or whatever degree they think they need, and then they're that much smarter than the next guy. I'd like to challenge you. Every one of us possesses wisdom, and we have something to give to another. We really do. In the book called James is called in the Bible the Proverbs of the New Testament. We got Proverbs in the Old and we got Proverbs in the New, and it's listed in the book of James. And it's an incredible place to camp out. If you're ever kind of wondering about a few things, that little short book of James, one of 66, you just pick up the Bible and visit it. And that's where I'm going to read from today. It's in James 3. He had just got done talking about the taming of the tongue and the words we use and the anger, where it comes from and all this and that. And he speaks about our life. And in that life of ours, we speak out. And if we speak out positive, hopefully it gets us to be more positive. Get somebody else to be more positive. Or negative, takes you down to the negative path. But there's those kind of ways. You can look at people's successes that way too. You can look at success as a positive, celebrate with them, or a negative and want what they have. And I'm afraid that happens a lot, as we're human nature. That's just the way we kind of tilt sometimes. But you see, we're also created in God's image. And when we're created in God's image, that means that we're created for good. So with that, seek out some wisdom. I'm going to read a bit from James 3. It's in the third book. And it's right there on 13. So who's wise and understanding among you? Well, then let them show it by living the good life. But by doing deeds in humility. Because when you do it that way, that's what comes from wisdom. But if you're harboring bitter envy, jealousies, selfish ambitions in your heart, don't even try boasting about being wise, because you're denying the truth. That kind of wisdom isn't the kind that comes from heaven, but it's earthly and it's unspiritual. And actually, it's from the evil one. When you think you're somebody special and you're not operating out of humility, you're in trouble, because it's going to catch up with you. Sorry, that was my own little bit. That's not what God's word says, but that's what God's Spirit says, I believe. Also it says, for where you have, or where you are envious or jealous, or you have that selfish ambition, you're going to find disorder there, and you're going to find all sorts of yucky practices, icky things that go on. Because you're stuck in an envy, or stuck in jealousy, or you're stuck in yourself and that ambition, just that furthering your own self, life, success for just you. That's not wisdom. That's not the kind of God wisdom that He's placed in His kids. You see, James 3:17 says, but wisdom that comes from above, well, it's going to be pure. And it's going to be peace-loving. And it's going to be considerate. It'll also be submissive. And it's going to be full of mercy. And you're going to have good fruit, impartial, and very sincere. Because peacemakers who sow in peace will be able to reap that big harvest, the harvest of righteousness. Righteousness is a simple word, really. It means living right. Now, a lot of us have different degrees. Like, you can't tell me that that's the good way to live, and I choose this to be my good way to live. And there is some things that you can tinker with because of your upbringing or because of what you are striving for. But God's simple ways of saying it's pure and lovely. Think about these things. That's from the book of Philippians. Think on these things, and this is what's going to happen. See, the gift of wisdom is a gift that's just waiting to be discovered in us. Again, Education, that's terrific. But if you get stuck on that, God's word in the book of Ecclesiastes also says it's so wearing. You can get tired by studying too much. The book of Ecclesiastes tells us that too much study will weary the soul. And I think with that is that you get kind of caught up in thinking, I know just a little more than you do. You know, that kind of attitude, believe me, that's not wisdom. Wisdom is one that's walked out on earth in a sense of humility, I believe. A lot of people enjoy being around people that have humility, if you haven't noticed. Maybe you're too busy thinking too much of yourself. I get stuck there too. I think we all do. But I would certainly just love to challenge you on that. Seeking out wisdom. So many different ways to do it. It really is. Wisdom sometimes can happen as simply just taking a moment, grabbing a cup of tea, coffee, soda, whatever makes you happy, water, and just ask. Simply ask. Because the word also tells us you don't have because you don't ask. We're kids, right? That's what we got to all remember. If you're an 80-year-old kid or an 8-year-old kid, we're still simply kids, and we're going to go to our Father and we're going to ask Him for something. And why not? Ask Him for wisdom to get through that business crunch, or get through that relationship, the marriage, the children, your girlfriend, just so many things. He just can't wait to let you know how to get wiser. You can pick up a good book. Oh my goodness, absolutely a fan of that. But guess what? I live in a life that's pretty hard to just stop and pause and read a book. Again, we're all given the same amount of time, but we all just have something that fills up our time lots of times for that book. But seek wisdom. You see, that's seeking heaven first. It really is. That's a gift that He's given. Can't wait to give. So please, above all, I would love to challenge you to just pick up the word. Sometimes people get intimidated by it. But there, towards the end, is a book of James, where I read from today. And it's just there to help you discover a few things about talking too much, or not hearing the way that you should have heard that person. It's talking about honoring, and it's talking about giving, and there's just so much, just in that book alone. But when you seek, make sure that you want to learn, because sometimes we'll listen to a point and then all of a sudden we put up those defenses and say, I don't want to change that much. But you know what's crazy? That everything that God puts in there, it's for our good, because ultimately He is good. Bad things, awful, sad things happen in life. Trust me, I know. I don't know of one person that's not struggling with something pretty major in their life. So then seek the wisdom of God. Seek His peace. Because we don't have answers. We might be able to comfort, but He is the one who made us. So you see, He is the one who is able to create in us. Maybe it's wisdom to give that other person those missing words when they're hurting and aching so much. You need wisdom for that, right? So again, seek His word and understand. Sometimes it's just in being quiet and calm. Keep calm and carry on. Yeah, I guess that might be a theme of today. Please take into effect that you are a gift, the one and only you, and you have wisdom to grow into, and you already have some. So challenge yourself in how you can give that out to people, okay? Again, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I wish you a wonderful day. Enjoy it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.